Hello, friend. So, for the next little while, I'm going to be talking about sales and marketing, which is a little bit different from my normal content. And I want to talk to you a little bit about why. As you probably know, my page is normally more about the inner work. It's about the who behind the how. It's about magic and intuition and being in relationship with the universe and really finding your power and authenticity from within. But in building my business around this, I have learned a lot about marketing, about how to talk about what I do. And I've really come to recognize how important this is, especially for people who identify more as a practitioner than a marketer, because I had to learn a lot from marketers and then I had to unlearn a lot of this stuff. And so if you do something similar to what I do, let me invite you into this unlearning. See, I was in so many things where marketers were teaching marketing and messaging for marketers. I even saw something today that was like, oh, when you work with me, we'll take what you want to create and we'll create this big vision and this big campaign and this production and all this creativity. Here's the thing. I can tell you that as a healer, as a guide, as a mentor, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this big production. I don't want to spend all my time innovating in the marketing space. You want to do that because you're a marketer. I don't want to do that. I'm a healer. I'm a guide. I'm a practitioner. When I sit down with my people and I get to bring them back to the center, I get to open them up into more of the power, more of the light, more of the authentic amazingness of who they actually are. That lights me up. It lights me up. That is the best thing in the world. That is what I'm here for. That is what I'm here to do. And that is what I want to spend the majority of my time doing. And here's the thing. I used to let these marketers come in and say, no, that's just a bad attitude. You need to be on social media more. You need to be doing all these things. And of course, I'm super sensitive. So I internalized that. And I was like, oh, there's something wrong with me. I don't want to do the right thing. I'm afraid. I don't want to show up. And I gaslit myself into believing that I couldn't be successful because I didn't want to do the things that you're supposed to do. And it took me a long time to realize that those things that they say you have to do actually aren't really necessary in that way. And so the reason I want to talk about this and share is because I had to learn to market as a healer, as a guide, as a mystic, as a practitioner, and not as a marketer. And what I found is that it's a very different thing. Someone who is in love with marketing and that's what they love shares and wants you to market in a very different way than someone's like, listen, I have a gift, I have a mission, I have a purpose that I'm here to share with the world. And yes, I recognize that I have to share about what I do. Yes, I recognize that I have to invite people into my work, but I doesn't want to be the main thing. And I'm not willing to make myself wrong for that. I'm not willing to gaslight myself into thinking that I can't be successful. One of the most powerful things that I did in my journey is I just started looking at all these things that I believed that I had to do in order to be successful and make money. And I just went, what if that's not the truth? What if it's not the truth? What if it's not the truth? What if it's not the truth? And that is when my business skyrocketed. It's when I went from struggling with these launches to we were around like 10, sometimes 20K months to just consistent multi 5-figure months so easily. And I want to be clear, I'm not talking about doing nothing because I use everything that I teach. The energy work and my frequency is the core of everything I do. I am the living embodiment of my life's work, which is the ultimate code. But also, I've gotten really, really good at talking about what I do and talking about it in a way that invites people in, that gets me paid at the level that I actually work. If you go and check out my podcast, that's where I do a lot of this. I make podcast episodes when I have something to say, and those live there. And people find me and they binge my podcast and they show up ready to come into my world. That is one of the main ways that people find me. And so I have not had to do all of these big, crazy marketing things that people say you have to do in order to do that. Now, I'm in a season where I'm starting to scale, and so I might start doing some more of those things, but I am not in the belief that I have to do those things. But for the next while on my social media, I'm really going to be leading this conversation with you about messaging because I think it's so important. There are so many gifted healers, practitioners, coaches, guides, light workers, mentors that are so freaking magical at what they do. So next level, so world class. And a lot of us are not actually thriving or getting paid to the degree that we really should, because we're stuck in this binary where we feel like we have to do marketing like a marketer and someone who just lives for that, or we feel like it's not available to us. Some of us don't know how to package our offers and our work. Some of us don't know how to talk about it in a way that lights people up. If you're an astrologer, what are you selling? You're not selling astrology, you're selling alignment, but alignment is just an idea. So what are you actually selling? Well, you're selling confirmation of who you are. You're selling executive decision making. You're selling time, collapsing time around results. You're selling certainty. You're selling the ability to identify energies that are likely self-sabotaging and limiting patterns that are in our life and what to do about them quickly. That has the power to slingshot someone forward 5 years, 10 years in their growth. That's what you're selling. And so we have to learn to talk about that in that way and not just say, I'm an astrologer, book an astrology session with me. That is like a $300 to $400 a session skill. There's a way to package that in a way that you're going to be able to charge 5 figures for working with you easily. And we need more of the people who are masters of what they do, working like this, charging like this, in this way, at this level, because how many times have you bought something for someone who's great at marketing and the delivery isn't that great? You end up with some 20-year-old who's like all about it on social media. I'm the queen, I'm the goddess, I'm the best, whatever. You're like, yes, they had good socials, they get you in. And then you're in there and you're like, this is kind of shit. This delivery kind of sucks. It's not helping me get a result. It's not actually good. They're not even organized in the back end of their business. It's all about the sales. But why are we doing this? I see people that have multi-million-dollar empires that end up in these spaces with people who are great at marketing, but not great at delivery. And I want us to change this. In fact, we need to shift them. This is part of the new earth. This is part of new paradigm business, that people who are masters of what they do actually master the skill of selling, of showing up, of messaging, of packaging their offers and bringing them to the world in a way that people can actually see you and recognize your value. I think this is so unbelievably important. I'm going to be going into a lot of really real stuff that a lot of us deal with. And I'm going to be sharing my belief codes and the things that I've come to around this and just leading us through a conversation, because I think so many of us are left with this feeling that business is bad, that sales are bad. And it's because so much of old paradigm business, so much of what we've been exposed to exists in this old paradigm of manipulation, of scarcity, of lowercase will. But that is not the only way that we get to do these things. There is a way to do business that is aligned with the highest good for all, that's aligned with authenticity and truth. You are not serving anyone by hiding from your power and not owning your worth. In fact, it's a disservice to the world when we are not standing in our power, when we're not holding our value around what we do. We model what we are. The loudest thing we share in the collective is who we're being. So being a gifted, loving, compassionate, aligned with the highest good of the collective person, while also owning your power, your worth, having boundaries, having standards, being able to actually claim the power and the magic and the magnetism of what you do is what we need more of. So I am taking this time for this season to share what I have learned, what I have embodied, what I have filtered from all these marketing things where I've had to kind of learn and unlearn and sort through, like, how do I actually do this in a way that's in alignment with me, with my clients, and the highest good? And honestly, it's freaking amazing. People find my podcast, they binge it, they show up, they're ready to make a 5-figure investment, no objections, no fuss, no muss. It's so easy. And this is available to so many of us when we learn to master these skills in a frequency of truth and authenticity. So that is what we are going to be doing in this next little while here. Welcome to my TED Talk. I'm so excited to have you here, and I'm so excited to be bringing this conversation to you. Let me know if you have any questions or any specific topics you want me to talk about. My name is Michael Edwards. As always, I'm sending you so much love, and bye for now.